to them, that men ought to pray and not lose heart, saying, there was in a certain city a judge who did not fear God nor regard man. Now there was a widow in the city. She came to him, saying, get justice for me from my adversaries. And he would not for a while, but afterwards he said within himself, though I do not fear God nor regard man, yet because this widow troubles me, I will avenge her, lest her continual coming she wearies me. Verse 6. Then the Lord said, hear what the unjust judge said. And shall not God avenge his own elect, who cry out day and night to him, though he bears long with them? I tell you, he will avenge them speedily. Nevertheless, when the Son of Man comes, will he really find faith on the earth? Amen? And so this is sort of a shocking comparison. Jesus compares God to an unjust judge, not because God is corrupt, but to expose the contrast between them. A cold, self-serving ruler versus a loving God, a righteous God, a God who pours himself into humanity. You know, if corruption can still produce justice, love can overflow with it. If the unjust judge eventually responded, how much more will a covenant-keeping God act on behalf of his elect? The parable does a couple of things. It doesn't ask us to fight back. It tells us not to fight back, that God is our avenger. It tells us that God doesn't act out of annoyance like the unjust judge did. He acts out of love. He acts out of covenant. He acts out of faithfulness himself to protect his people and his promises. And then it takes us into eternity. Humanity is temporary. Judgment is eternal. And so we have a promise from the Father that if we walk in faith and we love him and we love Jesus, that we will walk with him in eternity. And then he caps off this parable with the last statement. When the Son of Man returns, will he find persistent faith or religious fatigue? What will he find? The contrast is in the parable. The unjust judge, his thinking was, she's an annoyance to me. You know, let me just take care of this. And then we see God, a loving God, a faithful God, a God who wants relationship. And so when we look at this parable, a lot of times we look at parables and it's a comparative. There was a certain guy that invited people to dinner. There was a certain man who had a prodigal son. You know, that's sort of comparing or explaining. There's also contrasting scriptures like this. Anyway, God bless you. Have a great day. Thanks for watching.
Thank you for watching today. To stay informed and stand with the ministry, visit watchersoftruth.com. You'll find free resources, complete teaching series, and ways to partner with us in spreading the gospel. Donate today at watchersoftruth.com.